So an interesting one, a very interesting one. I think this one I like so much. Is it possible to say unintelligible things when you're praying? Make some sounds. I think sometimes you may see some people when while they're praying. You hear them saying things like "Ah, yeah, 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 ah, yeah, 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 yeah." Sorry if I almost busted your mic, but that is how some people pray. And when you may hear some people praying repeating unintelligible things, and you're like, what on earth is this? Is this even prayer? Well, I'm on your side. I'm on their side also, because this is Christ. So here's what I'm gonna say. An answer to that is it possible to pray and say unintelligible things? Yes, it is possible. And I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 2, which says, "For he who speaks in a tongue does not speak to men, but to God." So when you are hearing people speaking in tongues, they're not speaking to you. They're not talking to you. They're talking to God. So it's less of your business. And it's not something you want to mind. It's not something you want to pay attention to. So it's not so much of your business. If it was your business, you would have become the person they're praying to. Anyway, that's me being a little bit funny there. For no one understands him. So when you hear people speaking in tongues and they're saying unintelligible things and you don't understand it, you are not meant to understand it. However, in the spirit, he speaketh mysteries. He speaks mysteries in the spirit. And another Bible verse I'm going to use also. Now this is for the part. This first Bible verse is for you to understand that people can pray in the spirit, and people can pray in tongues, even in church. Yes, in church. Yes, read 1 Corinthians 14 very well, and you'll understand that Paul even says that you can pray in tongues in church. However, when you're ministering to people, you have to be able to interpret what you're saying, right? So this is for praying in tongues. Secondly, for groanings in the spirit. All those times you hear people going like, ah, ah, and you're like, is this? No, I don't want to go to that church. Why are they doing that? Especially in churches in Africa, Asia, South America, and all those places. You see those kind of revivals happening, holding in Atlanta. I think I've seen some. In Canada, I've seen some. You see those kind of things happening, and some very conserved and reserved Christians like me are like, no, I don't want to go there. Well, breaking news is you have to go there. No one is forcing you to go there. Stick to what is fine for you. However, do not condemn what you do not know. That is what Jude said. Read Jude has only one chapter. Please read Jude. Jude says, do not condemn what you do not know, right? And the second verse we're going to talk about is Romans 8:26, which says, likewise, the Spirit also helps in our weakness. For we do not know what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit himself makes intercession for us with groanings that cannot be uttered. So groanings, we cannot say any words. All we can do is that is all they can do, because they cannot say any word. The Spirit is making intercession for them. So I guess that you possibly may leave the bandwagon of people who are trying to demonize what they do not understand, criticize what they do not understand, and understand that the Bible allows it. As a matter of fact, when Jesus talks about prayer, in as much as he says, do not go all around the street and pray and all the stuff. However, you also can utter things out loud. It is allowed. It is fine by Christian faith. So the Bible is saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm just giving answers based on what the Bible has to say about this particular topic. So let us also not condemn people online. I see the biggest enemies of a lot of Christians are Christians. Yes, the biggest enemies of a lot of Christians are Christians. You remember the story of the children coming to Jesus. Guess the people who wanted to stop the children from coming to Jesus? The disciples. Guess the people who the disciples did not like for what they were doing? The Pharisees and the Sadducees. What were they trying to do? The Pharisees and the Sadducees did not like Jesus, and they were trying to take Jesus away from the disciples. So we should be watchful that we do not become the people we hate. We should be watchful that we do not become the gatekeepers. Of course, we do not hate anyone, but there are some people we don't really like associating with because of some things. So we should not be we should be mindful that we do not become those people those people we want to come to the marvelous light. We should be careful we don't become them. We should be careful we don't become gatekeepers. We should be careful we don't become the authors of how to pray, and without so much knowledge about it, without what the scriptures, an understanding of what the scripture says about some of these types of prayers. So I think that is it, and see you next